Part 5. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 41. A milky white aura flashed, and 3 monks with dark golden vestments walked out of the teleportation circle of Qingming Mountain. The 3 monks, who seem to be around 30 years old, are all good. The 2 monks with strong bodies on the left are all 4-layer monks of Shenhai realm, and the right hand wears a pair. The monk shining with black glories is the 5-fold cultivation practice of Shenhai realm. The dark gold vests of the 3 monks are made of a soft fine gold, which seems to have good defense effects, and there are 2 ancient seal characters golden eagle near the chest. From the vests of the 3 men, these 3 people are all monks in the Golden Eagle Palace. Another low-level casual repairer who doesn't know the sky and the earth is thick. As soon as he walked out of the teleportation circle, the monk wearing black gloves on the far right just glanced at it, and sneered coldly. In the distance in front of the trio, a low-level monk in ordinary clothes was walking towards a valley in the rolling mountains. This low-level casual practitioner who sought death by himself in the eyes of 3 Golden Eagle Palace monks was Wei Suo, who came out to practice. In the eyes of these 3 people, the reason why Wei Suo is mortal is undoubtedly because the number of 3rd-level monsters in Qingming Mountain was extremely large, and according to the usual experience of the monks with 2 double layers in the Shenhai realm may be able to deal with the 2 independently. The 2-level middle-level monsters, the monks of the 3 levels of Shenhai realm, may be able to deal with the 2 third-level intermediate-level monsters independently. And the 3 people could see that Wei Suo's cultivation behavior had not yet reached the 4 levels of Shenhai realm. In the Qingming Mountain, where you may encounter 6 or 7 heads of 3rd-level monsters at any time, the monks of the 4 layers of Shenhai realm generally need several droves to dare to hunt down the monsters, and now Wei Suo is heading towards the direction is still the direction of Wanxi Valley. The inside of the Wanxi Valley is very humid and messy. Not only are there many strange-shaped rocks in it, but because of the warm climate in the valley, the variety of plants is also scary. From the outside, it looks more chaotic than Liuxia Alley in the Lingyu city. There are not only many 1st and 2nd-level monsters and poisonous insects in the valley, but also a gathering place for 3rd-level and middle-level monsters called flesh-winged snakes. The 5-level monks in the Shenhai realm may not have a way to go, but now Wei Suo doesn't seem to worry much. When there were dozens of feet away from Taniguchi, Wei Suo directed Ling Tianyupiri, who could use it 3 times, to pour into the true Yuan, leaving Ling Tianyupiri in a state that could be excited at any time. Afterwards, we saw that Wei Suo had inspired a dark yellow rung. As soon as this dark yellow rung was excited, it immediately became a golden bell like a golden bell on his body, and a golden mask with faint stripes appeared on the inner wall. After that, Wei Suo directly pressed this golden bell-like mask and walked into Wanxi Valley brightly and ceremoniously. About 200 feet deep into the Valley of 10,000 Snakes. Suddenly, 2 3-foot-long black lines flew down from a big tree on the left side of Wei Suo without any warning. Crashed into the golden mask outside Wei Suo. Wei Suo stopped immediately, and saw that the 2 hitting the golden mask outside Wei Suo were 2 strange-shaped strange snakes 3 feet long, with a whole body of black-green, and the color of the bark of an ordinary tree. Just below the neck, there are 2 short legs like a bird's claw and a fleshy wing. A triangular head looks huge, and 2 red eyes look very cruel. This kind of monster is the famous 3rd-level middle-level monster beast flesh scale snake in the Valley of the Snakes. Once they could not break the golden mask outside Wei Suo, the 2 flesh-winged snakes were obviously irritable, and they shrieked, and the speed of the 2 flesh-winged snakes was extremely amazing. Flying and turning in the air, the non-stop twirling bite the golden mask, it looks as if 2 dark lights are constantly stabbing outside the golden mask. Just a moment later, 3 similar flesh-winged snakes flew out, striking and biting the golden mask, and the sound looked very scary. Haha, the old man said it was really good. There were 5 third-level middle-level monsters, and the whole situation looked very terrifying, but Wei Suo, who had no action at all, was happy, and took out a white rune. First Order Ice Mist Talisman. With the excitation of this white rune, a cloud of cold white mist rose outside Wei Suo's body. The speed of the 5 ebony flesh-winged snakes in the cold white mist slowed down significantly. Golden Snake Rattle. Qing Shui Blade. Aiming at the freshman, Weizhuo accurately smashed these 2 spells successively on the mask that was always facing his head, as if he wanted to bite his abhorrent flesh-winged snake. The flesh-winged snake struck by the thunderbolt twisted by 10 golden snake-like lightnings twitched to the ground, and the next blue wind blade was chopped on its neck, and the water splashed. It didn't seem to cause much hurt, but not waiting for the flesh-winged snake to breathe out again, Weizhuo hit another gold snake, rattle, and Qing Shui blade again, and the flesh-winged snake suddenly twitched like a sheep madness. Stand up. This time, Wei Suo's 2 techniques were smashed on one of its flesh wings, and the flesh was cut off. The other 4 flesh-winged snakes looked so miserable at the sight of their brother, and the attack was even more crazy. Even the red eyes seemed to bulge, but Wei Suo did not care about the other 4 flesh-winged snakes. The golden snake Leishuo remembered the green water blade, staring at the flesh-winged snake chopping all over him. After about a dozen notes of the golden snake Rizuo and the Qing Shui blade, this flesh-winged snake was finally dead and immobile. Haha. If the 3 monks in the Golden Eagle Palace could see the current Weizhuo at this time, they would definitely feel that Weizhuo was just abnormal, because when the meat-winged snake was killed, there were 5 iron castings. The wire snake joined the battle group. But Wei Suo laughed more joyously. Boom! A fireball suddenly smashed into 5 fierce first-tier beast wire snakes, and 3 of them were blown up, and they flew out miserably. Wow, ha ha ha! There are a few more. After Wei Suo issued a fireball symbol, he devoted himself to dealing with another flesh-winged snake. In fact, Wei Suo is so coquettish and arrogant now, because this Qingming Mountain Wanxi Valley was selected by him and the old man in green robe. Originally, Wei Suo still wanted to go to the Daqingshan green copper mine, because after Wei Suo and Lu Pei'o said about the red beetle leader, Lu Pei'o also doubted that the red beetle leaders was inserted a short black arrow of light should be a magic weapon. Because according to the experience of the old man in green robe for so many years, even some low-level monsters, if they live long enough, or if they happen to devour some talents, they are likely to be higher than the high-level monsters. To be powerful. The red beetle itself is a kind of monster that will advance in strength as the year grows. Like a red beetle that has been for more than 1,000 years, it should breathe flames. Judging from the size and appearance of the red beetle boss described by Weizhuo, the old man in green robe can be sure that the red beetle is not 1,800 years old. The scariest thing about this age of red beetle is not the ability to breath flames against the enemy, but its extremely thick shell. It is estimated that the technique of Zhou Tianjing's first monk can hardly break the shell of this age red beetle, but the short arrow clearly penetrated its carapace, inserted into its flesh, and looked black. The glorious glory, it is not ordinary at first glance. However, thinking about the continuity of the mine, I don't know if there are other monsters, and the place is crowded. If a bunch of red beetle brothers swarmed up, my own life may not be able to be saved, so Weizhuo and the old man in green robe, after discussing for a while, I gave up the plan to go to the green copper mine pit and then meet the red beetle brothers. The reason why I finally chose the Million Snake Valley is because the old man in the green robe knows very well about the monster, such as the flesh-winged snake. The flesh-winged snake is ranked as a third-level middle-level monster. The evil name is outside. There are many monks in the hands of the snake, and there are also many powerful monks with supernatural powers. However, according to the experience of the old man in the green robe, most of the monks killed were unexpectedly encountered. When they were attacked by a sudden, the flesh-winged snake was the most difficult to deal with. It is actually its lightning speed and ability to fly. To put it bluntly, it is equivalent to a flying sword that can turn freely in the air, but its own impact and strength are still quite inferior to most other third-level monsters. So as long as the power of the defensive mask is enough to limit the speed of the flesh-winged snake, this third-level monster is not difficult to deal with. Now that Weizhuo is under the guidance of the old man in the green robe, it is completely targeted and prepared. The mask outside is inspired by the second-order golden bell charm. The duration of this mask, it can last as long as a joss stick. The first-order ice mist talisman can slow down the flight speed of the flesh-wing scale snake, and the golden snake Lei Ju hand from Lindao can paralyze the flesh-wing scale snake, which is a perfect match with the green water blade. It was only a short time after Wei Suo poured a bottle of air and breathed away, another flesh-winged snake was stared at him and chopped to the ground. Don't worry, the next one is you, the one in the middle, and you're in a hurry when it comes to you. After killing another flesh-winged snake, Weizhuo was very coquettish towards the middle piece of meat. The winged scale snake nodded. I'm humming, what's this stuff? But at this time, Wei Suo couldn't help but squint his eyes at once. There was a popping sound of a broken branch in the clump of trees beside it. A small hill was generally pressed out. This cyan python is covered with copper scales of cyan scales, and the entire body is as thick as a bucket. This figure looks already fierce, but even more fierce. The first half of the cyan python is actually it's still standing upright like a person. It seems that it is not high enough or fierce enough to climb on the ground, so you should stand up and despise you. A blood basin with a large mouth is estimated to be able to swallow vessel in a single bite, and the most peculiar thing is that it has a sarcoma on its head, and there is a yellowish horn on the sarcoma. Unicorn thunder viper. I depend. As soon as he saw the light yellow translucent short corners on the head of the cyan python, Weizhuo screamed suddenly, inspiring a fireball symbol that smashed towards the cyan python, and immediately ran back and ran. Asterisk. Today is more than 3D, the next chapter will be very happy, and it is not easy to dig regularly. It's hard to dig more red tickets for the New Year red envelope. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 42. Chapter 42 Yang Gus Han Stone Clay Cave, Seeking Red Tickets. If this is a fire cloud treasure clothes instead of a phoenix apron, how good ah! In the small stone house in the west of the city, Wei Suo looked at the phoenix apron that had been thoroughly cleaned by him, and sent out a burst of mourning. The fire phoenix apron and the fire cloud treasure clothes are famous in the great treasure land of Lingyu. They are all made by the artificer Wei Huiling, which is famous for the silver cloud city fire cloud door. The refining materials are fire silk, marble stone, and fire phoenix. The fire phoenix apron and the fire cloud treasure clothes have similar defensive effects. The inspired phoenix and fire cloud are equivalent to the shapeshift great art shield, which can be used to resist the shapeshift of the heavenly circuit realm first layer cultivator. Great art attacks, and as long as true UN is enough, the resulting phoenix and fire cloud powerful energy will be reduced and you can continue to re-energize. It is said that this phoenix apron and fire cloud treasure clothes are also based on the shapeshift great art great treasure, which is also a replica of shapeshift great art great treasure. The one-horn thunder estimates that even the stones can be digested, but now the firefighting apron in front of Wei Suo is exactly the same as the completely new one. The strips of silk are shining with seductive luster, and the tentacles are extremely soft and silky. This shows how good the material of this fire phoenix apron is. Imagine this phoenix apron wearing a lust scene on a great treasure beauty like Shui Ling Wei Suo couldn't help but slobber. This phoenix dudu if put to golden jade pavilion to auction, it is estimated that at least thousands of low-grade spiritual above, and this kind of thing is also a market, very rare in the market. Now stone's way is the defense of a desperate lack of shapeshift great art and defense shapeshift great art great treasure, this time to encounter a single horn REI a little more defensive shapeshift great art device, he would not be so it's embarrassing. Even if Wei Suo is now protected by shapeshift great art, with his cultivation base of divine sea realm third layer, the shielded shapeshift great art can't match the power of his previous earth shield treasure talisman. For example, the shapeshift great art great treasure imitation of the phoenix apron is just right for him. But the Fire Phoenix apron is the women's underwear shapeshift great art clothing, the Fire Cloud treasure clothes is the male cultivator's shapeshift great art clothing. This great treasure man, if you wear such a sexy apron inside, it is too embarrassing. Get it, with your current cultivation base, it's already thankful that you can keep a small 4-level monster beast on the one-legged thunder. I have been accustomed to Weisuo's horrible wretched great treasure. Laughing and mourning green-robed old man looked at him with disapproval. I can find such a piece in the horny thunder's belly. Shapeshift great art great treasures shapeshift great art clothing has also been smashed, and it is still picking up and screaming. Weisuo thinks about it too, so I don't mourn anymore. I started to count the harvest of the day. The wire snake and the meat-wing scale snake that came from Wan Snake Valley and the one-horned thunder who almost ordered his life to be sold to the Golden Jade Pavilion after he rushed back to Spirit Peak City. Anyway, the people at the Golden Jade Pavilion also thought that he was the iron policy person. It was not surprising that he could send a rank 4 monster beast to his raked cultivator. 6 iron wire snakes sold a total of 10 lower-priced spiritual stones, while 3 3-level meat-wing scale snakes sold a total of 150 pieces of spiritual stones. After the entire Unicorn Thunder searched Weisuo and found that there was nothing else, the Monster Core sold a total of 250 pieces of spiritual stones. In this way, Weisuo sold a total of 400 pieces of spiritual stones. Now Weisuo counted the Fireball Talisman and found that he also consumed dozens of Fireball Talismans in the Wan Snake Valley. The Fireball Talisman now has only 80 pieces left. However, counting the costs of these Fireball Talisman and Rank 2 Golden Bell, Cold Ice Talisman, etc., Weisuo earned at least 300 dozens of spiritual stones on this day. Not surprisingly, the Phoenix apron, it can be said to be small. I made a move. With the guidance of the old-fashioned old rivers and lakes of green-robed old man, Weisuo's earning spiritual stones is estimated to be unparalleled in the same level of rogue cultivator. Difficult Divine Sea Realm 4th layer. After the miserable count of spiritual stones, Weisuo picked up a middle-grade spiritual stones and was ready to start cultivation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 43. Chapter 43 Jade Cloud Grass, the Third Redemption Ticket. Through the fog of the night, Weisuo, who walked out of the valley where Shapeshift Great Art was located, saw the ruins of many broken buildings and the swaying light between the mountains of the distant secret place. The ruins of the forests are the ruins left by ancient. The ages are very old, and many of them have even been weathered. They don't see the original appearance. There are many ruins of broken buildings in the 5 or 6 mountains of Yanggu Mountain. In ancient, this place should not be a great treasure city, is a big town. The swaying light between the mountains should be the light in the heaven's first sex smelting crystal pit. Smelting crystal is a unique crystal stone. A little burning with fire will melt, but after melting the melting crystal after solidification, not only the heat can withstand great treasure, no longer easy to melt, and it will become stronger than many essence metal. It is this easy to shape and very strong characteristics, so the smelting crystal was great treasure volume used in refining shapeshift great art, especially the refinery defense shapeshift GRE art shield. The smelting crystal mine near Spirit Peak City is only a secret place in Yangshan Mountain, which is controlled by Heaven's First Sect, and Heaven's First Sect generally has a master above Heavenly Circuit Realm, which is stationed in this vein. Many low-grade cultivators and ordinary mortals are inside. Help Heaven's First Sect day and night mining. Although the Heaven's First Sect this occupation of the whole vein of the behavior, Weisuo also feel very shameless, but even if the whole smelting of the crystal veins in the way before the red is not used, because the kind of melting before the translucent white, after smelting is black, smelting crystal is a small piece of great treasure block in the miscellaneous stone, but also only great treasure amount of manpower to obtain a certain amount of mining. And now these swaying lights also comfort the heart of Weisuo standing in the wild mountains. After more than half an hour in the dark forest, Weisuo finally reached the secret place of the entrance to the stone cave of Nangongyuking. This is a flat cave with a secret place. The light entrance has a few squares. It looks like a giant beast opened the great treasure mouth and swallowed it. Seeing that there was no Nangongyuking near the hole, Weisuo didn't panic, but immediately took out one of his 3 jade talismans. With a purple true yuan, 3 pieces of his message. Jade talisman all gave off a bright brilliance. It was only a moment, and Nangongyuking, wearing the red tight-fitting soft arm, quickly came out of the cave. You are pretty smart, know that using this kind of shape-shift great art let me know that you are coming. When Nangongyuking saw Weisuo at the entrance, he immediately said, I have already sent you messages several times with Jade Talisman. I can't wait until I first rushed over. How come you come now? Is there anything urgent? Look for me at this time. Weisuo looked at the soft armor of Nangongyuking with a little regret, because he found that the soft armor of Nangongyuking had been completely repaired, and it seemed that the traces could hardly be seen, let alone see the rest. Watching Nangongyuking seems to have an anxious look, he also quickly explained, I went to Kingmoon Mountain today, it is estimated that it is too far apart, I can't see you on Jade Talisman. News. How many fireball talisman did you bring? Nangongyuking asked directly. Weisuo was a bit strange, took a look at Nangongyuking, is there still 80 sheets? 80 to Zhang. Nangongyuking didn't seem to think that there were so many fireball talismans on Weisuo, and he was slightly embarrassed. Time is a bit nervous, let's talk while walking. But she turned around immediately and took the road ahead. I don't know what happened, although Weisuo let her wait for a long time, and she was afraid that Weisuo couldn't get there, and she set up shapeshift great art to inform Iron Policy that other people came, but she never felt that Weisuo will deliberately not come. What? Jade Cloud Grass. Weisuo walked behind the Nangongyuking and walked into the cave of Shija, and saw that the secret place was a strangely shaped stalactite. The wet was very heavy. After listening to Nangongyuking, Weisuo was shocked. It turns out that Nangongyuking is so anxious. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 44. Chapter 44 is not a family that doesn't get together, seeking a red ticket. Weisuo screamed a surging sound in his heart. This stone shovel cave is well connected, great treasure, great treasure. There are many small caves. If it is not Nangongyuking, even if there are 2 jade cloud grass in Weisuo, it is estimated that Weisuo can't find the naked body. Somewhere in the caves where jade cloud grass grows, some places are even narrow enough to allow one person to bend over. If it is not all the way to kill the monster beast, Nangongyuking will certainly not go deep into this place. Before Weisuo couldn't figure out how Nangongyuking could find 2 jade cloud grass, and he was still very clear about the monster beast. Now that he followed Nangongyuking to the ground, he suddenly understood why. In front of it is a bottle gourd type cave, 2 caves filled with stalactites, the great treasure. There are dozens of squares, but only a short, great treasure about 2 people walking side by side. The channels are connected. The 2 jade cloud grass, which are white jade brilliance, like the white jade carving, grow on a stalactite that faces a cave outside. Weisuo, who was stalking in the dark, saw it almost at a glance, and Wind Spirit Eagle, who was almost as tall as Weisuo, stood on a stalactite on the ground and looked at a cave outside. Inside a cave, like an auction, it has a fan shape with more than 30 ice-white butt knives. Wind Spirit Eagle is covered with deep cyan, like a piece of iron-like mane, whose head is similar to the giant eagle of the ordinary, with a great treasure eagle. The claws of the limbs are like iron casting, a black. The shorts on cyan's tail are all triangular, hanging behind the butt and looking very fascinating. 30-year-old snow white butt white, it seems that there is a frosty pattern of ice white butt. The appearance of the knife is also not good enough. A 4-petal insect mouth and 2 glass balls are generally dark olives without eyes. The eyes look very terrifying, and the 2 short forelimbs look exactly like 2 thick-backed great treasure choppers. Each ice white butt knife has a colder chill than the ice spider. Nothing. Jade cloud grass is getting mature. Almost as soon as Weisuo saw the lust shape in the 2 caves, the white brilliance on the 2 jade cloud grass was thicker, and a scent of scented fragrance continued to emerge. These ice white butt knives can't stop. Nangang Yuking and Weisuo, who kept their breath, accelerated their heartbeat, and couldn't help but glance at each other. The ice white butt knives that had been squatting with Wind Spirit Eagle were also commotion. Under the command of the white butt Tai, the treasure of the frosted, the most snow of the body, which looked the most massive in stature, the ice snow the thin wings beneath the outer crust of the frost, and the 3 ice butt Tai first jumped, toward the Wind Spirit Eagle jumped up, divided into 4 of the mouth at the same time spray out 3 of white ice gas, toward Wind Spirit Eagle flooded. On the 4 walls of the cave along the way, there was a piece of frost on the kaka. This level 4 upper grade monster beast is too abnormal, right? But let Weisuo take a breath of cold air, but the Wind Spirit Eagle is standing still and not moving, just a mouth. It spurts at least dozens of swaying wind blades out, surging from sharp breaks. Sound judges that the power of each wind blade does not seem to be under Weisuo's cyan water blade. If the level 4 mid-level Unicorn Thunder's power is equivalent to the Cultivator of the Divine Sea Realm 5th layer, then the strength of the Wind Spirit Eagle is definitely not under the harmful Cultivator of the Heavenly Circuit Realm 1st layer. Pei Papa. The wind blades and the white ice butt of the 3-headed ice white butt smashed together and made a violent blasting surging sound, but they quickly penetrated the 3 white smog without any suspense. The 3-headed ice white butt knife squats up and shields the front 4 limbs. 3 heads of ice white butt knife thick back great treasure knife like thick 4 limbs suddenly appeared a lot of deep scars, a strange blue blood poured from it. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 45. Chapter 45 is so poorly technical, second more. Hey, I said who it is. It turned out to be you. As soon as I saw Weisuo's face, Han Weiwei also groaned, and then the depressed lust on his face disappeared and he smiled smugly. Who are you? Weisuo puts on a table lust that I don't know you. Have we seen it? Han Weiwei sneered, who am I? When you grabbed my 2 rock-tailed wall lizard, why didn't you ask me who I was when you took off your pants in front of me, and why didn't you ask me who? Are you pretending to know me now? Ah. Wearing a red shapeshift great art, Lu Wu, who looks like a little handsome, is the helper of iron policy that Nangang Yuking has found. Nangang Yuking is afraid that Weisuo can't arrive in time, so he passed a message to culture. Lu Wu, who was really relieved by Xuanhuan, asked him to come to help, but Nangang Yuking did not expect that Han Weiwei, the great treasure of Rare Treasure Pavilion, actually followed. Let Li Yagong Yuking and Lu Wu who came in with Han Weiwei are completely dumbfounded at this time. Nangang Yuking and Lu Wu didn't think that Han Weiwei and Weisuo seemed to know each other, and Han Weiwei's words were easy to make ambiguity, and when I took off my pants in front of me, said this. Nangang Yuking and Lu Wu all thought that Weisuo had done anything wrong with Han Weiwei. I said great treasure sister, isn't it 2 rock-tailed wall lizard? As for, Weisuo was speechless, and looked at Han Weiwei with a smile. Why should I say that I am like an old rogue? Who is your great treasure sister? Han Weiwei has a small face. You are not an old hooligan. Wait, Weiwei. At this time, Nangang Yuking, who is quite familiar with Han Weiwei, couldn't help it. He interjected and asked Han Weiwei, what the hell are you two? Nangang Yuking elder sister, how come you are with this shameless old hooligan? Han Weiwei said this to Nangang Yuking, but she did not answer her. Weisuo was speechless for a while, and he tried to pick the 2 jade cloud grass. After all, he quarreled with the little girl in the silver shirt. Jade cloud grass was a great treasure. If you didn't pick these 2 jade cloud grass in time, then it's time. Spores are scattered, spiritual chi dissipates, and the loss is really great treasure. Old hooligans, what do you want to do? Don't move, don't you want to do anything hooligans? However, Wei Suo only reached out and Han Wei called it again. I picked these 2 jade cloud grass, this is also called rogue. Even if I grabbed your 2 rock-tailed wall lizard, I will pay you. The rogue will flow, you don't have to add an old word in front. Wei Suo is really depressed and can't help but shout. Whatever you call, even if you grab it, it's good if you didn't take off your pants in front of me, do you think you can beat me? Han Wei glared at Wei Suo, do you think it's just as simple as 2 rock-tailed wall lizard? Do you know that the 2 rock-tailed wall lizard are the first monsters I hit? Did you know for the first time? I was so robbed by you for the first time. Wei Suo was also on fire, sneer, and said, I said how to make such a dish. It turned out to be the first time, clumsy, and so technically. Nangong Yuking and Lu Wu looked at each other and they both laughed and laughed. Fortunately, 2 people are now also great treasure to hear what is going on, otherwise, if someone walks in and hears Han Wei and Wei Suo's, they think that the 2 are talking about that one. Just listen to Wei Suo and sneer and continue, I have been there for a long time, is the rock-tailed wall lizard you ran over to grab me. Now I am a good man and don't fight with a woman. Lose your 2 rock-tailed wall lizard spiritual stones. You still don't want to, what do you want? Do you want to take off your pants in front of me and play tricks? Is it a great treasure? You, Han Wei was so angry that he shivered and pointed his finger at Wei Suo Nangong Yuking elder sister, you can hear what the old rogue said. Well, Wei Suo, this is really too much. Nangong Yuking glanced at Wei Suo, you are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 46. Chapter 46 I am not abnormal, third more. It seems that Wei Suo is awesome, and the fireball talisman is screaming out, but Wei Suo's is also secretly bitter. The defensive power of the white shield in front of Han Wei is much more harmful than the rank 2 shapeshift great art. More than a dozen fireball talismans smashed up, and even the cracks did not come out. Are another shapeshift great art great treasure imitation. At this moment, Han Wei turned out the cyan bamboo sword and turned it into a blue light. The light felt the shapeshift great art on the cyan bamboo sword, and Wei Suo could not help but change his face. The surging sound of exploded, and the cyan bamboo sword actually penetrated the wind wall in front of him. Ling Tian Yu Pei flashed twice, and the 2 divine light screens that were continuously excited were actually pierced by the cyan bamboo sword. The power of the cyan bamboo sword was completely out of the original shapeshift great art great treasure imitation of Lin Dei. Be careful. At a glance, Nangong Yuking's face suddenly became pale, and he couldn't help but send out a surging sound. Chi. Cyan bamboo sword is still a certain distance from Wei Suo's chest. The powerful energy on Jianguang has torn the ordinary cyan cloth on Wei Suo's chest. Upon seeing such a scene, Lu Wu, whose face is great treasure, is also preparing to spur a shapeshift great art great treasure in his hand, and shapeshift great art intercepts the cyan bamboo sword, which is obviously a copy of shapeshift great art great treasure. But at this moment, the red light of the strip suddenly flew out from the chest of Wei Suo's, and the bright treasure of the cave was full, and it turned out to be a very realistic 5-foot-long fire phoenix. A surging sound of call, like a living creature, the fire phoenix is actually hard to block the cyan bamboo sword. You are a dirty guy, you actually steal the underwear of the female cultivator, and wear it inside. Han Wei a pair of beautiful eyes, great treasure, unbelievably looking at Wei Suo's chest, Wei Suo's inside, actually wearing a tulle transparent women's apron. Actually stealing female cultivator underwear, but also wearing it, Han Weiwei thinks Wei Suo the sky is really abnormal. In the heart of Han Weiwei, Wei Suo and Spirit Peak City equated some cultivators that specialize in intercourse. Nangong Yuking and Lu Wu who saw the scene were also stunned. Because I was just wearing it, I just put on this transparent phoenix apron, I didn't expect it to be cut immediately. I saw the silver blouse and Nangong Yuking's table lust, burning with desire and tearful Wei Suo just cried, desperately explained, what steals the underwear of the female cultivator, my phoenix, the apron was found in the belly of a unicorn thunder that I killed. It just happened to protect the shapeshift great art device before it was put on. Who you cheated just because you can kill a one-horn thunder? I found this in the belly of the unicorn thunder, then I can say that there is a shapeshift great treasure hidden in the belly of rock-tailed wall lizard. Han Weiwei called a surging sound extremely badly, and then he wanted to give Wei Suo a mask shift great art, and cyan bamboo sword to see this shameless person. Looking at the lively Lu Wu and nodding his head, Wei Suo wants to die. Speaking of killing a one-horn thunder, I found a phoenix apron in my stomach and said that there should be few people who would believe it. Now I saw a burst of white ice that has already rushed in the hands of Han Weiwei. Wei Suo could only bite his teeth and launched a talisman in his hand without any surging sound. What is this lust? Han Weiwei was in the shapeshift great art. Suddenly, a great treasure group of great treasure white pigs suddenly appeared in front of her, very intercourse ran towards her. If you fight with shapeshift great art and suddenly see a great treasure, the fat treasure, the white pig, running towards you, what kind of reaction do you have? Han Weiwei was completely stupid, and even the white ice on his hands lost control and disappeared. The shapeshift great art on her body is good, shouldn't it be a hot hand? With this opportunity, Wei Suo shakes his hand and sends out a golden snake, Reser, a few. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 47. Chapter 47 Stalactite Essence. Divine Sea Realm 4th Layer. 4th, plus more. After all the monster body of the monster beast in the sarcophagus cave was scraped off and slightly explained the process of killing the unicorn thunder and the group of the great treasure that suddenly ran out, what happened? Wei Suo and Nangong Yuking go back to Spirit Peak City directly by sending shapeshift great art. Wei Suo also felt that he was really cumbersome today when he broke up with the movement of shapeshift great art and Nangong Yuking and ran back to his own west side cottage. Although it is true that the fire phoenix apron is really suitable for Nangong Yuking, this kind of thing is usually sent between the most intimate lusts. It is really not very good to send this with the relationship of Nangong Yuking. Appropriate. However, Nangong Yuking did make a lot of good secret places. Like this removal of a jade cloud grass, Wei Suo also harvested a wind spirit eagle and nearly 30 ice white butt knives. Although these ice white butt knives are smashed, the rest can't sell many spiritual stones, but the most valuable part of the third level monster beast is the monster core that can refine medicine pill. Every ice snow butt knife's monster core is worth 50 pieces of spiritual stones. These are 1,500 pieces of spiritual stones, and Nangong Yuking has 750 pieces of spiritual stones. Think of Nangong Yuking, this several times has been brought to himself a lot of good secret place, but they do not seem to give Nangong Yuking how much good secret place, and Nangong Yuking also to himself so trust, hit the monster beast all put in their own here. Wei Suo feel very embarrassed, think of Kahuo Phoenix Dudu even send, she also refused to accept. Wei Suo decided to send the next time Nangong Yuking to Zhang illusory light to say. After all, the role of the illusory light talisman is still very great, and today it has played a decisive role in the rivalry of the one-horn thunder and the silver shirt. I don't think this little girl is actually the sister of Ji Yat. No wonder, like a nouveau riche, against the rock-tailed wall lizard, you can use the shapeshift great art. Now Wei Suo has already known the identity of Han Weiwei from the mouth of Nangong Yuking. Of course he knows what kind of power the rare treasure pavilion is in Spirit Peak City. When he thinks about the tears of the little girl, he still looks for trouble. Wei Suo couldn't help but feel a bit of great treasure. What about the beauty you are dating with? How come back so late? Wei Suo entered the door and green-robed old man immediately emerged from the broken jar and asked Wei Suo. Haha, old man, let you see what kind of good things I got this time. As soon as I saw green-robed old man, Wei Suo immediately got smug, haha smiled and took the treasure-receiving pocket out. As a result of True Yuan's attention, the white jade cloud grass suddenly emerged in the yellow light of the treasure-receiving pocket. Now Wei Suo is more comfortable with the use of this treasure-receiving pocket. Before Wei Suo take everything inside a brain to get out, and then take out the one they want, but he used more times, he found that this treasure-receiving pocket can be like cultivation time, with divine consciousness to inner vision induction. To take something, you can let something emerge, but not all a brain out. In fact, this is why Wei Suo has never used such a great treasure. If you have a cultivator of this kind of storage shapeshift great art great treasure, you can't take one thing, then you will take the rest. All the ancient brains came out. Jade cloud grass, green-robed old man just glanced at it and his face changed suddenly. How did you get this jade cloud grass? What happened? Wei Suo saw that green-robed old man had become very urgent and serious. It was a bit strange. This jade cloud grass was discovered by Nangong Yuking, who was sent to me. It grew up in a cave and had a wind spirit eagle guards. This wind spirit eagle is also killed by us. There are 2 plants growing there, we will be 1 person first. A total of 2, green-robed old man said more eagerly. Where is the secret place cave? You will take me there. Take you to the cave? What's really going on? Wei Suo couldn't help but swear. Stalactite essence. And Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 48. Chapter 48 Green-robed old man. Seeking a red ticket. Within Wei Suo's naked body, True Yuan rotates in the 4 purple divine seas. Stalactite essence. This kind of cultivation world has nothing to record. The spiritual chi condensate is really amazing. The original Wei Suo, even the day and night culture, requires many talents to break through the divine sea realm 4th layer, but these stalactite essences have enabled Wei Suo to open up a new divine sea and promote it to the cultivator of divine sea realm 4th layer. Reminiscent of the kind of spiritual chi violent spurt, the feeling of fusion with his own True Yuan, Wei Suo licked his mouth, could not help but squatted in the broken hole secret place, and sucked hard. If there are more stalactite essences, it may not be possible to break through to divine sea realm's 5th layer. It is not the divine sea realm's 5th layer. Some of the shapeshift great art can also be used. It is not a normal low grade rogue cultivator. However, Wei Suo was extremely disappointed that the hollow column of the hollow jade tube was empty, and even a drop of stalactite essence was gone. The old man, there is no use in the crystallization here. The disappointing Wei Suo cautiously issued a cyan water blade, which cut the crystal column again. The surface inside the crystal column was a grain of crystal grain like salt. These are just ordinary glaze crystals. There is no secret place. It should be that this stalactite is itself a stone pillar. The drops on the top of the cave slide down this stone pillar, and a layer of stalactite is wrapped outside. Stalactite essence happens to flow out of the crystallization of the glass in this stone column. Green-robed old man shook his head with a little regret. Is jade cloud grass useful for upgrading the cultivation base? Wei Suo couldn't help but take jade cloud grass out, and he couldn't wait to swallow jade cloud grass. Cultivation is the most urgent to take advantage of. Green-robed old man sneered at a surging sound. Just like monster core, although it has attracted a lot of spiritual chi, but can't directly refining, jade cloud grass is also like the most precious giant herb. At the same time, many unique components have been condensed. Monster beast. Although swallowing jade cloud grass can be a great treasure monster core, if you swallow this jade cloud grass, You are estimated to be hardened and you can't get out of this cave. I was too impetuous. Wei Suo's eyes flashed a few times, took a deep breath, nodded and calmed down. Rare to see Wei Suo so serious. Appearance of the green-robed old man is the eye of the light flash. Before he listened to Wei Suo said, always think this guy just want to chase cultivation world great treasure beauty Shui Ling and desperately cultivation, but now Wei Suo this moment of god lust change, it is let him suddenly feel Wei Suo so desperately cultivation, want to promote cultivation bases because there is nothing else important reason. You don't have to be disappointed, so you are lucky. There are some stalactite essences that let you break through the Divine Sea realm's fourth layer. The speed from the cultivation base of the level 2 Divine Sea stage to the fourth layer is already very quick. And you have already arrived at Divine Sea realm's fourth layer. Some things, I can tell you, and I promise that it will not be worse than these stalactite essence. After seeing Wei Suo, green-robed old man said with a slight squint. It's just that we are cooperating. If I am mainly based on you, some things should be eloquent and clear. You must tell me except Shui Ling. Beyond why are you desperate for culture? In order to survive, didn't fight shapeshift great art before going to work in Spirit Peak City. Wei Suo smiled a bit, and for the first time on his face, there was no regular lust of a hippie smile. And, I want to see the place where my old lady is outside of Heaven's Dome. I have to know at least how they died. Do you know where they are outside of Heaven's Dome? Green-robed old man looked at Wei Suo and asked. I don't know, I just heard that they should have Heaven's Dome in the direction of Spirit Peak City North. I ran there to see it once, but my cultivation base is too low to go outside Heaven's Dome. Wei Suo released a long breath, watching the old green robe. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 49. In Wei Suo's body, the true element rotates and flows among the four purple seas of magic. Stoneling Lu, a condensed thing in the world of monasticism, which has no record in the world, is really amazing. Even if Wei Suo was practicing day and night, it would take many geniuses to break through to the fourth level of Shenhai realm, but these stone spirits made Wei Suo open up a new Shenhai in one fell swoop, and became a monk with 4 levels of Shenhai realm. Recalling the feeling of the violent spurt of the aura just now, and the fusion of his real element quickly, Wei Suo smacked his mouth, couldn't help lying on the hole again, and sucked hard again. If there are more stone spirits, it may not be necessary to be able to directly penetrate to the 5th level of Shenhai realm. It is not necessary to reach the 5th level of Shenhai realm. Some powerful spells can also be used. It is no longer a general low-level small repair. But Wei Suo was extremely disappointed that the hollow crystalline column of the hollow jade tube was empty, and there was no drop of stone spirit milk. Old man, there is no use in the crystallization. The very disappointed Wei Suo carefully issued a green water blade, and cut the crystal column a little more. The surface inside the crystal column was a grain of crystal particles like salt. These are just ordinary glaze crystals, there is no use. It should be that the stone stalactite itself is a stone pillar. The drop at the top of the cave slides along the stone pillar, and a layer of stone stalactite is wrapped on the outside. The spirit milk just flows out from the glaze crystals in this stone pillar. The old man in green robe shook his head slightly with regret. So is Yu Yunzi useful for ascension and cultivation? Wei Suo couldn't help but take Yu Yunzi out, and looked like he couldn't swallow Yu Yunzi into his stomach. Cultivation is the most anxious and impetuous, the old man in green robe sneered. Just like Yaden has absorbed a lot of auras, but can't be directly refined, Yu Yunzi is like most elixir. While growing up, it has condensed many of its own unique ingredients. Although the demon beast can swallow Yu Yunzi to be a powerful demon, but if you swallow the strain of Yu Yunzi, it is estimated that you will be hardened all over the body and can't walk out. This cave is gone. I'm too impatient. Wei Suo's eyes flashed a few times, took a deep breath, nodded, and calmed down. It is rare to see the old man in green robe with such a serious look in Wei Suo's eyes, but before he heard Wei Suo said, he always felt that this guy just wanted to pursue the beautiful woman Shui Linger in the Taoist world and worked hard, but now Wei Suo's change of expression at this moment made him suddenly feel that Wei Suo was so desperately practicing and wanted to improve his cultivation practice because there were other important reasons. You don't have to be disappointed anyway, your luck is pretty good. Some stone spirits let you break through the 4th level of Shanghai realm. Your speed from the double cultivation of Shanghai realm to the 4th level has also been increased. It's very fast. And you have reached the 4th level of Shanghai realm. I can tell you something, and I promise that it will not be worse than these stone spirits. The old man in green robe read after Wei Suo glanced, he narrowed his eyes and said, it's just that since we are cooperating, I'm mainly about you. Some things should also be clearly explained. You must tell me why you are desperately practicing besides Shui Linger. The reason? In order to survive, I couldn't live in Lingyu City without fighting before. Wei Suo smiled bitterly, and for the first time he didn't have the usual hippie smile on his face. And, I think of my dad and my mother outside the Sky Dome. Take a look at the place where the accident happened. I must at least know how they died. Do you know what happened to them outside the Sky Dome? The old man in green robe looked at Wei Suo and asked. I don't know. I just found out that they should have left the Sky Dome towards the north of Lingyu City. I ran there to see it once, but my cultivation level was too low to go outside the Sky Dome. Wei Suo Chang took a breath and looked at the old man in the green robe and said, well, I should have said everything, and you should tell me what you can tell me. Okay, the old man in green robe glanced at Wei Suo and nodded. I'll tell you a method of refining an elixir. This elixir is called Buishandan. Buishan pill? What kind of panacea is this? Is it a panacea that can quickly restore the true Yuan or can improve the true Yuan? Wei Suo immediately regained his usual golden eyes. Not these immortals, the old man in green robe said proudly, but it is more effective than these immortals. It is an immortal medicine that can continuously refine the flesh and strengthen the Shanghai. What does this mean? Wei Suo asked, not understanding. The old man in the green robe said, any current practice, according to the grade of the practice, the size of the Shanghai is fixed after a certain degree. The true power in the Shanghai reaches a certain level, which is to open up a new god. The cultivation level is one more level. The more advanced the practice, the larger the open sea, the more true elements are stored in it, and the true elements are more condensed. Therefore, monks who practice good spells, even if it's the same level of cultivation, it's many times more powerful than yours, a monk who practices crappy spells. And this supplement to the heavenly pill, it can keep growing the existing sea of gods, just like the expansion of heaven and earth elixir. The monster's inner pill makes it possible for the monsters of the 3rd level to surpass the strength of the monsters of the 4th level. I make up the sky pill. In the final analysis, it can make your garbage skills continue to advance, and eventually even a panacea that may transcend heaven-level exercises. A panacea that can make advanced exercises. Wei Suo's pupil shrank sharply. Old man, are you sure you are kidding me? If you don't want to know, forget it. The old man in green robe looked at Wei Suo and smiled. I'm relying on it. I don't want to know, it's just an idiot. It's just that this panacea is too abnormal. Wei Suo is very clear about the difference between lower order and higher order true elemental exercises. When he couldn't afford much chi before, he had to calculate the hair of the green water blade, and if he was a monk who practiced the celestial order, even if it was a double of the Shanghai realm, the blue water blade did not know that it could be fired continuously. A few hundred. The ability to continuously expand Shanghai so that he always wanted to replace the Zi Xian Zhen tactics can even surpass the Tianji exercises. What kind of concept is this? Metamorphosis is of course metamorphosis, but this panacea can only be effective if it is taken for a long time. And the materials of this panacea are difficult to match before 10,000 or 20,000 years. The old man in green robe looked at Wei Sudao. It can only be said that your small garbage repair in the eyes of others and my garbage organ spirit in the eyes of others have ushered in our time. Then this kind of panacea can be used to continuously advance the practice method. Will it affect the speed of cultivation? Wei Suo took a deep breath and asked. The old man in green robe nodded. This is of course. Just like your exercises have become a little more advanced, the Shenhai has grown, and the speed of cultivation will naturally slow down. But I can guarantee that compared to your cultivation days, the entry speed of the order exercises must definitely be faster, because the Bulletin Tiandan itself has non-stop transformation of your physical body, which is equivalent to the effect of increasing your talent and speed of absorbing aura. Wei Suo gritted his teeth. Since there is such a good thing, why do I have to go to the 4th level of Shenhai realm to tell me? It's very simple, because this medicine is only effective in the 4th level of Shenhai realm. The old man in green robe gave a simple answer that made Wei Suo roll his eyes. So what kind of material is this Tian Tian? Silver moon grass, purple deficiency grass, horse chestnut, Han Lujian, 3rd level demon beast green beetle demon pill, said the old man in green robe. Blue beetle demon, Wei Suo thought about it. Among these materials, only the 3rd level and high level green beetle demon was more valuable, and the rest were not valuables. The number of green beetles is now quite large. Even if it is acquired by Lingxi, it can be acquired. Now the green beetle demon pill is more valuable. The old man in the green robe seemed to see Wei Suo's thought at a glance, and said with some emotion, don't see that the green beetle is only a 3-level monster, but it is in 10,000 or 10,000 years. Before, the green beetle was almost killed, and it was difficult to find. I did not expect that the number of green beetles has reproduced so much. It can be found even in the sky dome. Let's go. After the pause, the old man in green robe paused, then looked at Wei Suodeo. Go back and prepare the materials for alchemy, and refining this makeup pill requires earth fire stove. After going back, I will tell you how to make it. It is also necessary to pay attention to the heat, and it cannot be made in one go. Okay, but wait a moment. Wei Suo nodded, but quickly took out the Nabeo capsule. What are you doing? What made the old man in the green robe difficult to understand was that he actually saw Wei Suo take out the material of the gold thread and the magical light from the treasure. Immediately, Wei Suo released nearly 30 snow sword beetles. I'm going to refine a illusion sign. This time it's because of Nangong Yuking. I broke through to the 4th level of Shenhai realm so quickly. I made a illusion sign for her. The illusion sign suddenly appeared 3 times. 10 snow blades should still be able to frighten opponents. The small stone house is too small to hold so many snow blades, so it can be cultivated here, Wei Suo explained. While putting up those snow blades, the corpse rises, and also puts out all kinds of fierce and evil shapes on the heads of the snow sword beetles. I rely on. You have so many holes in these ice and snow sword beetles, and your opponent can't tell that they are fake. The old man in green robe looked at the holes in the ice and snow beetle that was punched by Feng Linqi and was speechless. It's okay, just dress it up. I'm good at it. What made him even more speechless was that he saw Weizhuo put out a bottle of white paint that he didn't know what was made of, and painted on those snow knife worms. Got up. This guy, although we thought that Wei Suo was boring to do this, but he didn't know what was going on. The old man in green robe was more and more thinking that this guy Wei Suo had many differences from most of the casual repairs, so the second time it didn't strike Wei Suo, but watched Wei Suo quietly refining the illusion. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 50. Chapter 50. Heavenly Circuit Realm Cultivator. 3rd, ask for a red ticket. For a moment, soft So many fireball talisman refining is not easy. Looking at the back of Nangong Yuking's departure, Wei Suo licked 2 surging sounds in his heart. However, Wei Gui, who used to be like an iron cock, didn't feel a pain in his heart. After watching the back of Nangongyuking disappear in sight, Wei Suo went to the north of Spirit Peak City. In the Spirit Peak City, the most powerful squares such as the Golden Jade Pavilion are gathered in the south of the city. The free market in the north of the city is like the old fox shop that Wei Suo used to go to. However, Heavenly Profound Continent has always been the concept of the north, so the entire Spirit Peak City is also facing south, built on the mountain, the highest position in the north of the city, the top of the restrictions. The general cultivator no shapeshift great art enters heavens. The gate of first section. The Chinbei Free Market is also a cultivator residence that is a lot less than the small stone house in the west of Wei Suo. To put it simply, the west is the slum of Spirit Peak City, the place where the low-grade rogue cultivator gathers, and the north of the city is where the high-level rogue cultivator gathers. The residence of the North City cultivator is also the higher the terrain, the better the environment and conditions, but the higher the number of spiritual stones to be paid each month. Now Wei Suo's most pressing thing is to refine the heaven mending pellet. After buying 15 cyan beetles monster cores at the Golden Jade Pavilion, all the materials for the finish mending pellet on Wei Suo are ready, just refining. Heaven mending pellet is still the last thing, earth fire furnace. Some cultivation bases with high cultivation base, whether artifact refinement or concocting pills, can use their own true UN to drive a specific Dan furnace, or a higher level cultivator to refine ordinary medicine pill and shapeshift great art. Show true fire shapeshift great art to true fire artifact refinement or concocting pills. But Wei Suo cultivation base is low, and it won't be true fire shapeshift great art, so to upgrade heaven mending pellet, you can only use earth fire furnace first. Wei Suo is now heading north to Spirit Peak City, wanting to change to a secret place with earth fire furnace. Because there are several sect bands in the north of the city, Wei Suo had rarely visited the rest of the city except for the free market. So after asking a few cultivators, he asked the heavens first who was responsible for renting the city's northern residence. Sect 1 Hard Hall has a naked body. After a step along the bluestone staircase without any indication, Wei Suo saw a two-story palace. This temple, like Heaven's first sect, is the same as the other buildings in Spirit Peak City that carry the shapeshift great art array. It is also golden and looks extraordinary. Divine Sea Realm third layer? It seems to be just the outer sect disciple of Heaven's first section. As soon as I walked into the Great Treasure Temple, Wei Suo saw two men wearing ordinary blue shapeshift great art clothing Heaven first sect disciple and several clothes, but they all seemed to be together cultivator. Wei Suo with aura determining technique a sweep, found that only one of the middle-aged wearing black iron armor cultivator base than their own senior rank 1, is cultivation SE realm 5th layer cultivator, while the rest of the cultivation base are similar to their own. Or even slightly lower, even 2 of the reception of the Heaven S the sect, also just disciple the Sea Realm 3rd layer cultivation base. The cultivators with different costumes are paying spiritual stones in front of a slightly chunky Heaven's first sect disciple. They should also come here to rent a residence. Seeing that Wei Suo came in, another Heaven's first sect disciple with a sharp face and a very savvy look, immediately greeted him and asked, "Why is this Xiant Tai come to the heart of the temple, what is it?" Wei Suo know that this kind of place is similar to the ordinary business and in fact, just another place intercourse spiritual stones, intercourse is talisman, shapeshift great art great treasure medicine pill and so on, and this place intercourse spiritual stones, one hand is for you cultivation use of the residence, so Wei Suo also welcome, directly said, "I want a secret place with the earth fire furnace's residence." A secret place has the home of earth fire furnace. Wei Suo's words were exported, and the other cultivators' eyes suddenly gathered on him. A secret place there is a monthly payment of spiritual stones in the home of earth fire furnace. The cultivator that can afford this kind of residence is definitely not a general cultivator.